P6, complex numbers. Get to the right page. Write the sum or difference in standard form, a plus bi, without a calculator. You shouldn't even need one for this, but you know. Number 2. 2 minus 3i plus 9i minus 3. I just mixed that problem with number 4. Hold, please. This is supposed to say 3 minus 4i. There we go. Like something is not right. So we add together the numbers that don't have an I with them. So that's 5. And then negative 3i plus negative 4i is negative 7i. And that's all you have to do on those. I've got 2 plus I minus 9i minus 3. So I do 2 minus a negative 3, so that's plus, so that's 5. Then I minus 9i would be negative 8i. So pretty easy on those ones. But if they give us something like 6 that's got a square root of 5 minus 3i plus negative 2 plus the square root of negative 9. Any ideas what I have to do with one like this? Take out what?
Take out like an I on the negative 9.
And what's the square root of 9?
3.
So this is going to be square root of 5 minus 3i plus negative 2 plus 3i. So then negative 3i and positive 3i cancel, so I'm just left with square root of 5 minus 2. What is I squared equal to? Negative 1. So if you had one that gave you something like that, instead just rewrite it in terms of however you need to rewrite it. But I'm not going to do another one of those.
Stacey, do you know if Daniel does his homework in pen or his math work and stuff?
He may, I don't know. I don't care as much with the homework since they normally, that's really just for them.
No, there's just no name. I'm assuming it's his because it's the only one left, but...
Oh, then probably. Earlier there was one with no name and they told me it was Shepherd, so I'm not sure.
Oh, I found that one.
Okay.
He ended up writing.
All right, write the product in standard form without using a calculator. So now we're multiplying. So 10, I've got 2 minus I times 1 plus 3i. So when I FOIL, I get 2 plus 6i minus I minus 3i squared. So that's going to give me 2 plus 5i, and then what's negative 3i squared going to become? Positive 3. So then I get 5 plus 5i. And all your answers have to be written in this order in standard form to be completely right. Alright, this next one's kind of a weird one. In the parentheses, I've got the square root of negative 2, then plus 2i, then in the next parentheses, 6 plus 5i. So I'm gonna FOIL. Although actually, what should I do first before I FOIL?
You can make it 2 minus, well, minus 2i. Or no, 2i squared.
2i.
What's the square root of 2? Is it a perfect square?
No.
No, so then I just need to rewrite this as I root 2. So now I can FOIL. So I'll get 6 root 2 and then and then plus 5i squared, or well, hold on, 5 root 2 I squared. So that takes care of both of those. Then plus 12i and then plus 10i squared. So then the I squared pieces, I need to rewrite those. So it'll be I'm going to write those first because those aren't going to have i's in them anymore. So negative 5 root 2 minus 10 and then plus 6 root 2i plus 12i. So to get it in standard form, what I need to do is I need to rewrite this. You can either leave this first part like this, or you can write this as like negative and then in parentheses 5 root 2 plus 10 for the A part of our standard form. And then plus in parentheses 6 root 2 plus 12 and then close the parentheses and put the I after it so that this then is in BI form. So that's how you'd put it into standard form. Because the step that I have right here is not all the way in standard form yet, since there's 2 pieces that have an I. You need to combine them. Any questions on that one? Because I know that one's kind of weird. Good. All right. Write the expression in the form BI where B is a real number. These are pretty easy. 18, the square root of negative 25 would be what?
Oh, negative 5. Or 5. Wait.
5i. If you have a negative under a radical, that automatically becomes an I, and then this one was a perfect square. All right, these next ones say to find the real numbers x and y that make the equation true. So I've got 22, 3 plus yi is equal to x minus 7i. So when I have this, all I'm doing is looking at, obviously x is the like a term and y is the b term. So I just need to make it so that one side of the equation looks like the other. So based on that, what does x have to be? Yep, x is 3. What about y? Negative 7. And that's all you have to do on those ones. Now, if you had one like this instead, where it's in parentheses x plus 6i, I don't really know why they put that in parentheses, but anyways, is equal to, on the other side, 3 minus I plus, and then another parentheses, 4 minus 2yi. Any ideas what I might have to do first?
Combine the right side.
Okay, how?
Wait. 7 minus 2y. Oh, no, you can't do that. 7 minus 2yi minus I.
So hold on 1 second.
Okay, guys, I dropped.
I'm just looking at something because I think there might be a typo in the book, so that's why I'm checking. Okay, hold on. This is what you said, right?
I flipped the I and the 2yi.
But I mean,
That's probably more correct.
oh, well, yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, this
Yeah.
is essentially what you said, right? Okay. So what does x have to be? I feel like x is pretty obvious. X is 7. So for y, what I need to do is I need to take an I out of this stuff. So I'm going to have 6i is equal to, in parentheses, -1 minus 2y times I like that. So now, since both pieces have an I on them, okay, I'm not technically canceling the I's, but what I'm doing is I'm saying, okay, the number in front of the I's have to be the same. So I'm going to say 6 is equal to -1 minus 2y. So then 7 equals -2y. So y equals -7/2. You can't see that. So that was just kind of a weird one. I'm not inclined to give you one that's like super crazy like that, but just so you've seen it. Okay. Find the product of the complex number and its conjugate. So they give us the complex number 5 minus 6i. What is its conjugate? Yep, 5 plus 6i. And then what is that? Other one. Other one. Difference of squares.
I think I said that last year.
I think you did. Yes, the other one's perfect square trinomial, but this one is a difference of squares. So when I multiply this, what do I get? And then I know what I squared is, so what is this going to become?
25 plus 36.
Which is 61. The box is crooked. Okay, the next one's still using conjugates, but we're like applying it. So write the expression in standard form without using a calculator. 34 I over 2 minus I. So when I have a problem like this and they want me to write it in standard form, sometimes people are tempted to start canceling i's top and bottom, but I can't do that because the bottom is being subtracted. So I need to multiply by the complex conjugate, which in this case would be what? 2 plus I. It's whatever the conjugate of the bottom is, so just like what we did up here, but now we're doing it for this. So this is going to be 2 plus I over 2 plus I. And the reason is I don't want any i's left on the bottom. That's the issue that I have with this one. So on top, I get 2i plus I squared. On the bottom, this is a difference of squares. So what does that factor into? 4 minus I squared. Yeah. So this is on top. I'm going to rewrite this as negative 1 plus 2i over, what do we say, 5. Now, this is not in standard form until I split it. So the answer needs to be negative 1/5 plus 2/5 I to be completely right. Now one that's a little different. 36 is 2 plus I on top over 3I on the bottom. Now the problem is I have an I on the bottom, so how do you think I need to get rid of that?
Multiply it by I.
Yep, I'm multiplying the whole thing by I. I don't need to do like plus 3i or minus 3i or anything like that because obviously it's just a single term. So I'm multiplying by I over I. So on top I get 2i plus I squared over 3i squared, which becomes, I'm going to rewrite the top in the right order, negative 1 plus 2i over negative 3. So when I rewrite this, this negative 1 over negative 3 is going to be a positive 1/3, and then minus 2 over 3i, so that I'm in standard form.
Why is it minus?
Because the 3 is negative. Okay, one more that's a little harder. 38, I've got on top 2 minus I times 1 plus 2i over, on the bottom, 5 plus 2i. So on this one, the first thing that I actually want to do is to FOIL the top before I start multiplying by conjugates. So what is that top going to multiply to become?
2 plus 4i minus I minus 2i squared.
All over 5 plus 2i. So then that top is going to become 5 plus, nope, not 5. 4 plus 3i over 5 plus 2i. Now what do I have to do?
Multiply by 5 minus 2i.
Yep, multiplying by the conjugate of 5 minus 2i, top and bottom. So on top, what do I get?
20 minus 8i plus 15i minus 6i squared.
all over, what is the bottom?
25 minus 4I squared.
So then on top, that's going to give me, I'm going to go ahead and turn this into a positive 6. So 26 plus 7I over 25 plus 4, so what is that, 29. So then to split it, I get 26 over 29 plus 7 over 29I. Sometimes when you get to this point where it's split, you can also reduce something else at that point. If you can, then obviously do that, but I can't on this one. All right, one last problem and then we'll be done. That's just kind of a interesting problem to tie in what we did yesterday. 42 is 3x squared plus x plus 2 is equal to 0. So first and foremost, can I factor this? So they're factors of 6 that add up to 1. I'm seeing some yeses, some nos.
Would you
So I need a factors of positive 6 that give me a positive 1. No, there's not. One of them would have to be negative for that to happen. So I need to use another method. What other method might I need to use?
You can put the 2 over and then take out x. Could you do like the quadratic formula?
So what's in front of x squared?
1.
3. So I can't complete the square. Okay, I'm trying to walk you through my process of how I determine if I can't factor, I look, can I complete this square? There's a 3 in front, can't complete the square without making everything fractions, and that sounds awful. So, what's my next option? Somebody already said it, I think, at some point, but
Move the 2 over and then take
can't do that.
the square root. No.
Quadratic formula.
That's right. Let's go. I said that like.
She said it like a hot minute ago, so I was trying to get her to say it again, but she wasn't saying it. Alright, so negative b, so negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 1 squared minus 4 times 3 times 2 all over 2 times 3. So I've got negative 1 plus or minus, what's inside that radical? So negative 23. I'm just trying to not have to write all the steps out. Over 6. So now what?
Don't you have to make it I square root 23?
Yep, I root 23. So negative 1 plus or minus I root 23 over 6. Need it in standard form though. Even though it doesn't say it, you should always put stuff in standard form. I will be looking for that on the quiz or test. So negative 1 6 plus or minus square root of 23, can't write a 2 apparently, over 6 times I. And the box is crooked again. I don't really care. Alright, any questions on any of that? Alright, I'm putting problems up here for you. I do not expect you to do them over the weekend. They'll be due next Wednesday. I want you to have the weekend off, but you may be able to get them done in the rest of this class period, to be honest. 1, 7, 15, 17, 23, 31, 35, 39, and 41. If you haven't done P7 notes and you want to do that now so you don't have to do that over the weekend, because we will do P7 on Tuesday, you can do that now and save these problems to do later. I don't care.